Hi everyone. Let's get started. Very good morning and good evening, and a very warm welcome. Really glad to have you all in the session today with us. Today we have a very exciting topic. Today's session is about one of the most commonly faced challenges by our SAP SuccessFactors HCM customers, which is how do we hire at speed, at scale, without compromising the data quality and compliance. So it sounds like this is a most solved problem, but for most organizations, it isn't. So that's exactly what we are here to talk about today. So we are Tech and Go, and we have built a solution called Mass and Swift Hiring Application, which is purpose built on SAP Business Technology Platform. So by the end of the session, you'll have a clear picture on what our application does, how it works, and how it can be the right fit for your organization. So let's get started. So about the presenters for today, myself, I'm Shweta Baluswamy. I have nearly 10 plus years of experience in SAP world across various SAP products like SAP BTP, SAP SuccessFactors, SAP S4HANA, and I'm also an SAP GenAI certified developer. Over to you, Reena, my co-presenter for today. She'll be giving a quick introduction.
Yeah, thank you, Shweta. Hi, everyone. Good evening. I'm Reena, working as an SAP SuccessFactors, SAP BTP, and AI senior consultant at Tech and Go. And also, I'm an SAP certified generative AI developer, having experience in building responsive Joule AI skills. Yeah, happy to contribute for the today's session. Thank you. Over to you.
Thanks, Reena. So before we dive in, let's understand about what is mass and swift hiring. So mass hiring is about processing large volumes of employee records simultaneously in single operation. Let's say your HR admin wants to onboard 200 seasonal workers today. Then currently what he has to do is he need to go through add new employee wizard in SAP SuccessFactors HCM and add the users one by one, which is manual and error prone. So with mass hiring, we can eliminate the manual handling and we can add the data in bulk altogether in one go. On the other hand, swift hiring is about speed and simplicity for single records. For example, if you want to hire a line manager or you have a decentralized HR team where you need to onboard a new user or you have some urgent contractor whom you want to onboard immediately. So for these kind of use cases, you can use swift hiring, which gives you a clean and fast path without having to go through a complex process. So we combine the powerful features of both mass and swift hiring in our application. So let's see the problems that are currently faced by the customer and why this application really matters. So when we have to manually process the hiring with high volume of data, the first thing that we encounter is delay. So the onboarding gets delayed because we have to manually do the data entry work and it is also repetitive. So it can create bottleneck in onboarding your candidates. Ideally, the candidate should have been onboarded faster, but due to this manual hiring, it gets delayed. Next comes the errors that happens during the data entry, like human errors and maybe the field mismatch values and all those which can cause inconsistent data in the system, which can make which can help us. Which can be expensive in order to fix. And then comes the data inconsistency issues. Here, we are dealing with multiple SuccessFactors modules like onboarding and employee central and few other modules as well. So we need the data to be synced in all these modules. If we miss even in one place, then the data would go out of sync and it can create compliance gap. And then comes the HR overload. Our HR teams are currently overloaded with this transactional hiring data, and ideally they should have been more focused on strategic planning for the talent and workflows planning. But most of their time is spent on this transactional work. And then comes the scalability. So as always, with huge volume of data in manual process, we cannot scale, it breaks. And then comes the compliance and audit risk. Since it's manually done, there is no governance, auditability, and approval controls. So all of this points to a single conclusion that we need a solution which caters to all of these issues. And hence, we have built our mass and swift hiring solution. So this is a unified, automated, end-to-end hiring platform for SAP SuccessFactors HCM, which is built on SAP Business Technology Platform. And is also powered by SAP Joule, which we will talk about later in the demo in detail. So here are the 5 core pillars that we have in our application. First one is hiring employees. So we support bulk and individual employee import from our application to SAP SuccessFactors Employee Center. Not just import, after the import, you'll be also able to mass onboard the employees. And then comes the onboarding part, wherein again, you can import bulk employee records, pre-hire records, and also individual records. And once you have them ready, you can also mass onboard them, which again gives you the employees in SAP onboarding module. Then comes contingent workers. So this is something which is not commonly implemented by many of the customers, but this is one of the critical things for any HR related thing. So we also support import of contingent workers. Both bulk and individual contingent workers can be created from our application. And then comes one of the most loved features of our customer, which is intelligent rehire detection. So we intelligently detect a candidate, and we will notify you that this can be a possible rehire scenario. So once you approve, instantly we will do the rehire flow, and the employee gets rehired. Without this, what would have been done is like we will create a duplicate user for the same employee, even though the record is already existing, and we avoid that by intelligently detecting it. Then comes the 5th point, which is also really important one when it comes to compliance and governance. So we validate all the records that you import into our system. We intelligently validate and give you the all possible errors that can occur on the record. And also on each row level, we give you the highlighting, error highlighting, and also the error messages. So you can fix the errors then and there and send it for onboarding initiation within our application instantly without having to navigate multiple screens. So these are the 5 core pillars of our application that is mainly developed. Now, let's also dive deep into this intelligent rehire detection feature, which I talked about. So the flow works like this. Let's say you input a candidate detail. What we would do is we would get the user's name, date of birth, national ID, and other key attributes of the user. And we try to check our SAP SuccessFactors system with these records. And if we get a match, then we flag that user as a rehire. So once we know that it's a rehire, we will also notify you in the UI, and you will be having an option to start the rehire flow, which means you can rehire the employee. So here you can either go for old employment or new employment. This is completely customizable according to your requirement. So this is the flow of rehire detection. So here, the key attributes that we use for Matching the records are like first name, last name, date of birth, and inactive status of the user. So again, here, this is also completely customizable. If you want to add in more properties in order to find the rehire user, that is possible. So now that we have seen like whatever features are there in our application, let's also see it in our live application as a demo. My colleague Reena would take us through the application. Over to you, Reena.
Yeah, thank you, Shweta. Let me share my screen. I hope everyone can see my screen.
Yes, Reena, we can see it.
Yeah. So this is our application dashboard. And before we get into the key features and capabilities of our solution, I would like to tell you that we do have a comprehensive user guide for the users, which will make our solution handy for all the users. So this will explain all the steps and the key features of our solution, and it will also explain the steps to be performed for some key activities like rehire detection and the employee hiring and also the contingent hiring. So we do have the three modules here. The first one is SAP SuccessFactors onboarding and SAP SuccessFactors Employee Central and the contingent workforce. So the first one is SAP SuccessFactors onboarding. So here the first capability is import pre-hire records. So pre-hire records is nothing but the candidates who are already done with the recruiting process, and those candidates are waiting for the onboarding initiation. So here we have this download capability. From here, you can download the official templates for the data that has to be filled. So it supports three different file formats. One is JSON, XML, and the CSV. Based on the customer's requirement, we do customize this. I already have some data. Let me import the data. So before importing the data into the system, we do check all the validations, and only if everything is validated, then only the data will get into the system. And we even have the capability to download the success logs and also the error logs. Whatever the data we imported here, so this is the pre-hire mass initiation tile. So here we'll be able to see all the data we imported from the import pre-hire tile. So these are the records which I imported from the previous tile. And from here, we can select the candidates for whoever we have to start the onboarding process. I'll select these two records and I'll try to hit this initiate onboarding button. That's it. This onboarding process will get started for these two candidates. We don't need to manually do anything. We just need to select the candidates and hit the button. Yeah, process will get started. And we are showing this dialog for the past candidates. If there is any failed candidates, we'll be showing that as well. So if I click the OK button, here it will update the status as success. So what if you don't want to hire multiple candidates and you have a particular candidate, and for that candidate, you want to review the data, whatever you have imported. So here we have the edit capability. On click of that, you'll navigate to the screen, and here you can review whatever the data you have imported. If you want to modify anything, you can modify. If not, you can simply start the onboarding process from the previous screen. So let me change some data here. I'll just save and I'll start the onboarding process. So yeah, here it will throw some error. Let me go back. If you see here, it updated the status as it got failed. If we don't know why it got failed, just by seeing the status, we don't know what's the actual reason. So we do have one monitoring dashboard where we'll be showing all the records which are successfully initiated and also failed. We can filter based on the successful records and also based on the failed records. if you can see here, you can clearly see the error message for the failure. If you want to restart the onboarding process for this particular candidate, you can do that. So yeah, based on the error, you can see the error and you want to correct the data. In my case, it was showing some mismatch with the company. So let me add the valid company here. I'll just save and I'll start the onboarding process again. So yeah, onboarding process was successfully initiated for this particular candidate. And if I go back, here we'll not be seeing any failed candidates since that candidate was successfully, we have successfully initiated the onboarding now. And even here, the status will be updated for that particular candidate. So as my colleague was talking regarding the rehire detection, and also if you don't want to import the record through file and you just have the candidate data and you have to enter only for one particular candidate, you can simply hit this button and here we have a guided process. You just follow the same process. It will take you to the onboarding process. So let me add these details. So as I am telling about the rehire detection, I have an inactive user and I'll try to add the same details here and I'll show you how we are detecting the rehire. So yeah. This is how we are detecting whether a particular candidate is a rehire or not. So if you choose to go with yes, it will proceed with the rehire. So when we talk about rehire, you people may get doubt whether it is rehire with old employment or rehire with new employment. So we do support all the capabilities and it's obviously based on the customer's choice. If I click yes, let me select the manager ID and the event reason. So yeah, just click the initiate onboarding button. It will start the onboarding process for the rehire. So yeah, this is from our first module. So the second module is SAP SuccessFactors Employee Center. Here also the same process. We do support the import capability here. From here you can download the template and you can fill in the data. You can import the data and that imported data will be seen here. You can simply select the record, whoever you want to hire, just hire. So yeah, this particular employee has been hired. Okay. I'll select some other records and I'll try to hire. Yeah. So this particular candidate has been hired successfully. If we want to follow the regular process, we want to go through across the systems and we have to manually enter the data and all. So from our solution, it's just simple. You can just select the candidates and you can start the hiring process. The other thing, if you don't want to follow the import process and you just have the candidate details and you have to hire, you can see this button, just get into it. Here you can select the company and the event reason. you can enter any data like customer, like candidate details. Make sure we have to fill all the fields without failing. Even if we forgot to add any data, this will throw some error saying that particular field is mandatory field. Selecting a position and select the page to submit. Yeah, employee got created successfully. If you follow this process, you can skip the import process completely. You can simply hire. And yeah, here we'll be showing the hired candidate details as well. So the next module is contingent workforce. Same. From here, you can upload the data, like if you have any data, and then validate the data, and this data will get imported into the system. And whatever the data you imported, you can see that data here. And from here, you can start hiring the contingent workers as well. Just select whatever the records candidates you want to hire. Just click on the hire contingent button. Yeah, these candidates get hired. So now it will also update the status, whether it is a successfully hired or failed candidate. And then again, if you don't want to follow the import process and you want to directly hire the contingent worker, we do support that way. However, I have done in the employee hiring, the same way here also we have to follow, and yeah, contingent worker will be created. Yeah, these are the features currently we have in our application, and there are few more upcoming new features. And we also build some of the customized features based on our customers. And if you have any thoughts like this thing has to be done based on your based on your requirement, we are ready to do that. Yeah, if you have anything like that, please do consider reaching out to us. We were happy to do that. And we do have the AI capability in our solution, and we have already built some of the Joule AI skills. Yeah, my colleague Shweta will walk you through some of the skills that we have built. Yeah, over to you, Shweta.
Thank you, Reena. Thanks for the insightful demo on the application. Let's get back into the presentation. Yeah, so I have mentioned about the Joule capabilities that we have in the application. So we have built an agent called HireX, an SAP Joule agent, which can be used to do everything that is related to mass and swift hiring from the Joule itself without having to go to multiple screens. So I'll also quickly show you the demo on how it works in the Joule. Let's move to Joule. Okay, so let's say I have imported some records already into the application as a pre-hire. If I want to fetch those pre-hire, I can simply give a prompt to fetch them. Yeah. So now I have been given the pre-hires that are there in the system, and like I can navigate to each user and I can see the details. And also here we have given an action button that is to initiate the onboarding. When you click on this, you will also be navigated to our Swift and Mass hiring application where you can continue doing the hiring operation. So yeah, I believe this would load our the same application that we have seen. So the same data we have seen, and we will be able to continue with the onboarding activity here. And next, let's say if I want to get the employees who are ready to hire, I can get them as well. Yeah, so here I'm listed with the employees. Again, here we have an action to hire. And once we click on hire, again, we'll be navigated to our application where we can easily hire them. And then comes the other feature that is, let's say you have imported some contingent workers from our application and you want to have a quick view on them. You can simply get them from here. Yes. So here now we have got the already hired contingent workers, their username and employment details, hire date, and all the other details which are applicable for that user. So these are some of the scenarios we have implemented, but there are also some other scenarios which we have. But for time's sake, yeah, we are showing only the couple of scenarios. Yeah. So let's get back. Yeah. So let's see. Let's have a quick Q&A. Let's see in the chat window if you have any questions already. And if you have any questions, yeah, please feel free to post it here. I think some of them are already answered. Like you make the API calls in the background to create onboarding. Yes, we have APIs to handle that. I think already it has been replied. Do you support mass hiring across multiple countries? Yes, we do. We support all the countries. Like it is again customizable according to your requirement. And do you persist any data outside of SuccessFactors? No. We don't store any data outside of SuccessFactors. Whatever data we need to store, that gets stored in the SuccessFactors NDF that stays within the SuccessFactors. Yeah, so how is this different to HRDL tool? I don't think we have any tool which is similar to ours, which is also integrated with Joule, the latest AI capabilities and everything all at one place. We feel this is something which is really new in this space. Okay, the Joule integration is super cool and the solution looks very advanced. Yeah, thank you. Can we have workflow integrated? Yes, it's possible. it's possible to integrate either SAP SuccessFactors workflow, or if you want to, let's say, use SAP BTP's workflow from SAP Business Process Automation Service, that is also possible. So we have actually done it for one of our customers, but for the demo purpose, we have disabled the workflow. So that's why you would not have seen that workflow approval in this case. Is the solution available in App Store? Yes. Yeah, one of my colleagues would share the link here. Yeah, I think we have covered all the questions. If you have any more questions, you can also contact us in this email ID, which we have mentioned here. So yeah, we are really happy to show you this application today, and we hope it will fit your organization needs as well. If you would like to know more about this application, yeah, you can contact us, and we can work out together. Thank you. Until next time. Bye.